Hello and welcome back to Exeter City, where the transfer window has closed. I've signed 3 new players permanently and a loan. 2 of last year's underperformers have also scored a brace in our most recent match, so I'll get you caught up. We'll start with those signings and we'll start with the cheapest of the 3. £450,000 acquired the services of Enrique Avalos. Yes, he shares the same name as the 6'8" central defender. That's not going to get confusing in the long run, considering he's also Paraguayan and Eric Avalos. I'm not looking forward to that when that happens. But he doesn't have a work permit for now, so I can't play him regardless. He's also 20 already, so he'll never be homegrown of any state. The only reason why I bought him now is because someone else put a bid in for him. I was willing to wait a little bit, but I had to beat someone else to his services. And we actually got him, which surprised me a little bit, but I did bid that little bit more. But when he cost 450 grand to begin with, what's another 50 grand? But yeah, if anyone wants him in January, I'm happy to loan him out. He's only 6 foot, but he does have good agility. He's a goalkeeper. He's not a sweeper keeper, because, well, even on sweeper keeper, defend, first touch, passing, kind of important. He doesn't really have either of them, or the composure. But he also has 2 eccentricity, so nice and stable. But yeah, we'll probably play him as a goalkeeper once he develops, but he's 20, so plenty of time. Don't know what his top end potential is, but for 450 grand, he's worth 32 million minimum. That's a profit, so if any championship side wants him in January, they can have him. Or lower league La Liga, say. Tenerife just got promoted. Wonder if they need a goalkeeper. I'll do the loan next just because the other 2 signings were for reasonable money and therefore are reasonable players. I loaned Johnny in from Wolves because he can play both sides. His preferred is actually inverted wing-back on the left-hand side, so I see him in there, but I've loaned him on a squad basis and I'm paying 30 grand a week for his services. I was desperately trying to find someone who might perform better than Dennis Castillo over the course of the year. Thing is, Dennis Castillo did play well once we switched him to inverted wing-back, so, and he is a 3.5-star right-back now in his main role, but of course when he plays inverted wing-back that only gets put to 2.5. So we very much stifle his star rating, let's say, in the role that we're playing him in, even though it's technically no different to the role that he starts in. Apparently playing a little narrower as a wing-back means 1 star less capable. Johnny plays both sides, and I figured he's a better backup than Ola Aina at the very least. Now, he may have thought that Sangre might be our starting defensive midfielder. He might have thought Fofana might have been our starting defensive midfielder. No, it's going to be 2-star, I reckon. He's 29 now. Back on the channel, we had him at the very end of the Newcastle save in the final season. He'll be here a little bit longer for us. But £10 million up front, there's more if he plays games and etc. But £10 million up front. It was an exchange for Lille. I wonder who Hertha got in response. It doesn't actually say. But I also got him in to mentor people because 17 teamwork, 17 work rate, stamina's there as well, natural fitness is there. You can't train those, but his leadership's 15 and his determination's 15 as well. Another good person to put in the mentoring blocks. He's played 1 game, we got a 7.2 in the Premier League. His Carabao Cup outing, not so good. And then we also acquired Daniel Ballard from Crystal Palace. You may not be expecting another centre-back, but another centre-back we've got. I feel sorry for John Stones, whose place he takes in the starting lineup, but it does mean we now have 2 3.5-star centre-backs. Only 6'2", but when you've got a 6'8" next to him, that's something I can provide a little bit of a concession to, and 6'2" is not short, let's be real. It's just, well, half of it shorter than our other central defender, so the comparison's there. Really, he doesn't really have a weak spot other than marking, we'll say. As a ball player, the ball-playing parts are competent for a central defender, but just that marking of 12 has me a tiny bit concerned, but he does have 16 heading, but only a jumping reach of 15. So if he gets the headers, should be all right. And he has a good set of traits as well for a central defender. I will say that as well. Plays short, simple passes, marks opponent tightly to compensate for that marking, dives into tackles with 16 aggression I'm concerned by, and runs with ball rarely, I like. And he's 26 from Northern Ireland, so he does count as homegrown, because he came through at Arsenal. I wouldn't say just because it's come out of the transfer news in the real world. I was very tempted by Calvin Ramsey, who is apparently being touted by Liverpool in the real world this window. But I really didn't want to dip under. Still got 7.5 million in the bank. And the projection's not great now, actually. I don't really know why it's that much worse, because our wage bill's not gone up by that much. We're on 80% transfer revenue because I went 4 grand over our wage bill for about 3 days and the board weren't happy with that. So I immediately moved a tiny bit of transfer budget over and we're fine again, surprisingly. But as I said in the intro, 2 of last year's underperformers, Mirza Markovic and Ramiro Uribe, that is a tongue twister to say in combination. Blimey. There might have been several failed attempts there. Scored 2 goals apiece to beat Everton 4-2. We did lose to QPR in the Carabao Cup. I mean, I don't mind I don't mind being knocked out of that one early at this stage of our career as Exeter, but it was somewhat embarrassing. Angelo got sent off in what was his first start for the team. Sanchez also let in 3 out of 5 shots on target against Brentford. I do love being FM'd. The worst part was we weren't even FM'd by QPR, we were just outplayed, which was depressing. So after being accused of being unwilling to experiment 3 times in a row after all 3 games, I decided to experiment against Everton and won 4-2. One of their goals was a penalty. Didn't really change much, I just switched the Mazzars to box. They still stay wider as a instruction. Toussaint's just a general defensive midfielder as well now. I wanted to see how that one played out. And that's the full extent of the changes. We'll play Fulham and Newcastle. It's very hot in the real world. Man United beat West Ham 7-2, so I'm feeling slightly less bad about the 5-0 to Liverpool, whose goal difference is 12 after 4 games. And only 2 of those were against Everton today. Huddersfield are terrible. Oh, Forest. Spirited performance against Arsenal there, clearly, but that does remind me, we are no longer the least reputable Premier League side, but we are somehow behind Nottingham Forest. So at Leeds, confusingly. Nottingham Forest were one of the few Championship sides that were behind us in the reputation table at the end of last season, but when the season ticked over, they were ahead of us, despite not being in the Premier League in this entire save so far before now. Huddersfield actually had back-to-back promotions to get into the Premier League here. They were relegated in the first season. And Leeds, of course, re-promoted after being relegated the season before. So they have nice shiny kits, unlike the other 2. Yeah, that one's confusing. So the lineup against Fulham will be Sanchez in goal, Martin at left-back, Avalos and Stones will start, actually, today, just because Ballard's clearly been on international duties and is a little bit tired as a result. Castillo at right-back, Toussaint ahead of them. Markovic, Hesham and Fofana will start on the right-hand side of the box-to-boxes. Similar situation with Baba Mansley, just a little bit tired after the international window. Carlos Eduardo and Uribe up front because they have no commitments at all either, clearly. Hesham does have commitments for Egypt, of course. He just seems to be still okay-ish. Heavy match load, but conditioning seems to be okay to start this, at least. Fulham have kept hold of Fabio Carvalho in this game world, and I added Buendia and Burge to that, along with a pair of former Wolves players in Dendoncker and Connor Cody. I wonder if Johnny will ever make the pitch today to face off against them. Oh, in case you're wondering what Carlos Eduardo's unhappy about, it's because I threw the water bottle at them after the QPR game, and he was not pleased with that response. I figured if any result was ever going to get to throw the water bottle and was ever going to actually provide a positive response, it was that one. But no, losing 3-0 at home to a lower division side, apparently still not worthy of the bottle. I do not know why Football Manager has a completely pointless option. I don't know where that player's going either. Fulham has stood over a free kick here. He's going to go for it, is Carvalho, and, well, miss, but not by much. It's 3 shots apiece, but not a lot of quality, apparently, between them. Well, there's a thrilling first half here at Craven Cottage. Well, at least Fulham have had a couple of opportunities that clearly were worthy of XG. We have not. Our shooting has been awful, says the text at the bottom of this shot map. Thank you for that analysis. John Stones responded wonderfully to the halftime team talk, so thank you, John. Let's use your experience as an England international and get the rest of the team G'd up for this. But Buendia is coming forward, and this looks dangerous. It's going to be a penalty claim. I can see it coming a mile off. He's outside the box. That one actually is a foul. The one that we conceded against Everton wasn't a foul and wasn't in the box, according to the animation. But, oh, this one apparently was in the box. The camera lies. Carlos Vinicius stands up, and Sanchez says, I nearly signed Carlos Vinicius. He was transfer listed for quite a while. At Wolves, actually. He wasn't even at Spurs. In fact, technically, Fulham have got 3 former Wolves players. Uribe, end of highlight. Fulham on the ball once more. It's gone back to Soria. I was about to first name him, but I wasn't 100% certain what it was. I think it's Juan, but not certain. The Curie's in here, and, well, misses again. Now we've got a free kick for Aaron Martin to put in. 2 6'8" people to target, and misses both of them. Markovic, put it back in. John Stowe's there to provide a cross, maybe? Nope, figured that wasn't going to be the case. And it's thankfully only lumped as far clear as Fofana, who takes a heavy touch and worries me before successfully passing it away. Oh, Carlos Eduardo's giving it away instead. Toussaint with a potential red card there, but it is instead a chance for Uribe, who scored twice last time out. I mean, that had me concerned from Toussaint. Sangre's coming on, and I think I killed the corner by doing that. Mansley audio on for Hesham as well, just because he was tiring quite dramatically already. See, Carlos Eduardo's on a 6.4, Markovic is on a 6.7, but carded. Those are the dilemmas. Mansley. Back to Sangre again. He's dinked it to Uribe, who's mugged Cody off there. Uribe keeps going to go around the goalkeeper, then keeps taking the shot before he's actually round him. I think we bring Tigges on as a like-for-like for Carlos Eduardo and leave it at that. Similar big lump to target, and we don't have any more substitutions as assistant manager, so I can't bring Beppo on even if I wanted to. Uribe, mate, you could have easily reached that. But he's got the ball now, so never mind. Oh, that was fantastic work. Brandia should score here, and he does. I mean, the depressing part of that is it's not going to go back to that part of the highlight, but Uribe could have got the ball from that corner, just decided not to. But he gets the ball here, and well, I don't know what Aaron Martin was doing. Not great from Avalos either, who just lets the ball go across him to Brandia again. I mean, we've got to go for it in these last 5. I really thought that was going to... I mean, what happened to the performance that we had against Everton? We were scoring for fun in that game. We were conceded for fun as well a little bit, but... So as we go into this Newcastle game, the changes are Ballard back in, Mansley back in, Hessian moves over because apparently that's the best way to put them, and we'll leave that at this stage. No other changes needed. Another thrilling opening as we get 19 minutes into this game without a highlight. As Castillo comes down this right-hand side, I have been tempted to put on floaty crosses just because obviously 6'8". Mansley gets that unfortunate physics tackle from Bruno Guimaraes. Nice to see one of those go against the opponent rather than for them. As Markovic on the ball now. We'll get it back to Aaron Martin. There's Mansley again, and it's a lovely volley for 1 goal of the season. That was a weird way of saying that. First goal of the season for Mansley. Or talk normally, maybe. That would help. That's Aaron Martin there. And yes, it's a lovely volley. Ooh, lovely finish. I do apologise if you could hear my fan in the background there. It is very hot. It's off now, though. Oh, good. A kickoff highlight. Love these. Max Aarons. Newcastle's manager left to become England manager. He's a Spaniard. It's not anyone you probably remote. That's outside the box. Can we stop giving away penalties, though? Even more baffling by the fact that the England manager clearly left their post was the fact that England won the World Cup. It did indeed come home. And it was a tough run-through as well. We didn't get an easy run-through. Beat big teams to get to that final. Republic of Ireland got to the quarters. No. Was it Republic of Ireland that got to the quarters, or was it Cape Verde that got to the quarters? Or maybe both of them. Anyway, 2-start on the ball to Mansley. That's going to get to Castillo. That's an odd ball, but he's controlled it well. And now he's got one to his feet instead. Uribe with 2 men on him to deal with, but Castillo just smacks that to Mansley first time, and it's a great finish, and he's run off with his arm up. I thought he was offside in real time, but clearly he must have held his run just right. It might have been the oomph that Castillo gave that's thrown me off there. It's 2-0 Exeter. Newcastle are 19th. They have 1 point. The thing is also the fact that Mansley starts off. Nelson really tried to foul him there as he took that shot. It was about 6 feet away at the time, but still tried it. Yeah, he's off screen when you kicks the ball there, so by the time he gets it, he looks a mile offside. That's more like it. And 2 starts already booked. That's great. Just inspire and motivate them and send them back out again. Ballard's on the 6.6, Avalos on the 6.8. How are our central defenders doing so poorly when we've conceded none? That just makes me think they haven't really faced anything. Uribe doesn't get onto that one, and Saint-Maximin closed by Castillo, but not tackled. Souček, Max Aaron. Saint-Maximin still there. I didn't realise he was. I just don't think he's played in any of the recent games against us for whatever reason. Ndidi, they've acquired. Nelson, Bruno, Max Aaron's now. Like, Newcastle have a very football manager team. Like, they've picked up good talent from, oh god, that's a great finish. That's the striker. That's like the best player that came through in Argentina and Brazil when they got genned in. Jose Elias, keep an eye on him. He's clearly scored 3 already at a Newcastle side that have 1 point in the first 4 games. I mean, there's a missed header there, and it's a little bit unfortunate it's gone that way around. The 6'2" of Ballard there looks tiny next to 6'8" of Avalos in the game engine. He's 6'2", and he looks like Dennis Castillo, basically, who is like 5'7". 2-start. Sanchez, that's a worrying kick around, but Carlos Eduardo should get this header. Somehow doesn't. Miranda. On back to Bruno. Ah, well, Souček's gone the end of that. That's an odd ball. Martin heads it clear, only as far as Aaron's. It's Aaron versus Aaron's on that side. That's the first time cross, and I mean, that's a ridiculous goal. I mean, that's an absolutely ridiculous goal. He's not offside, he's run off with arm up. We know he's not. I mean, this is exactly how he went against Everton, although they did score their goals in the first half. We should really be playing for set pieces. Why have we not been doing that before? First time cross, header on from Souček, and Elias is just there to tap it in. Clearly people just got distracted marking other people in the build-up to that, but I mean, it's clearly on the side. Dennis Castillo plays him on. Don't really know why. Fofana, Sangre and Wepu on for underperforming players. Ballard on the ball now. Making 3 changes. I wish I could change the strikers, but I haven't got enough substitutions for it. Fofana. Forward to Uribe. Back to Fofana. Where's he going with this? He's going out wide. He's gone for the Aaron pass for some reason. I mean, I'm not even sure that's physically possible, let alone a foul. I mean, we've broken physics, but we've got a penalty. Baba Mansley, and he's taken it straight away. Blimey, there was no build-up to that one. Thank you, Baba. We're not wasting our time. None of that tippy-tappy nonsense. Just whistle blow, bam, taken. Okay. But Baba Mansley, bam. Goalkeeper goes right way. Trubin, I think, is in goal for them. Yes, he is. We have only conceded 3 shots on target. Eriksen's come on at some point. Yeah. Their midfield options are odd. Souček and Didi. Bruno's still there, of course. And, well, Eriksen. Karsdorp puts this one in, and Souček's there. Oh, I know why Baba Mansley took it, because he was on a hat-trick. I could say he wasn't our best penalty taker. We don't have very good penalty takers, but I knew he wasn't the best one. Souček. Well, Sanchez has let 3 shots in target in out of 4. Kind of depressing. Oh, 5, apparently. They've had another one while we weren't paying attention. One thing about Jose Elias' arrival is that Darwin Núñez isn't starting this year. Not been massively prolific for them. Yeah, that's Jose Elias. You can see why Núñez isn't starting, even though he's worth twice as much, bafflingly. Age might be a factor there. Although they're probably about both 27 at this point, so yeah, he's ridiculous. 3 goals for Mansley, not enough, unfortunately, to win the game, but did notice the press wanted to talk about Ciro Fernandez there, who has scored 4 goals in 6 starts for Sunderland. Slightly regretting loaning him out now, because that would have been nice. The other loanee striker we've sent out's got 7.5 at Lincoln. Much lower division, admittedly, but 2 goals, 2 assists. It's nice to see them do well, particularly at Lincoln. But we'll go a lot deeper into this. You know what? I spy Huddersfield, who are obviously terrible so far, and Sonny Perkins West Ham, who just scored his first goal for West Ham as well this past weekend in the 94th minute of their last game. Don't think I didn't see that one, by the way, game. Sonny Perkins bailing West Ham out there the same way he's bailed us out so many times. They've had a tough start game-wise, though. Sort of teams in their block plus above, plus Brentford twice. I think that's a sensible and narrative pairing. But I'll bring you back for those. I'll see you very soon. Thank you for watching. Until next time, ta-ra.